How many of you have been to other sessions on badges already? Oh man, I'm nervous now. I've heard amazing things about the other sessions with badges, and so I'm hoping that our collective knowledge builds some amazing things and that we can come back to our customer service reps and our engineers and our product people and say, hey, we love what badges can do. We've seen some great things. We want more, more, more. And collectively, I think our voices will get some of that done. My background, so you guys all kind of know where I'm coming from, hopefully put some of this into context. I'm a classroom teacher. I taught ceramics and sculpture for 15 years and still try to do some of that. I also worked in education technology for the last 6 years. I was a technology integration specialist in my district here in Salt Lake City area and helped roll out Canvas with a team of amazing ed techs. And we started using Canvas, and we started our implementation program was a badging program. Teachers could work up from the green, blue, and black diamond level. We loved that badging system. We had it posted on classroom doors. We could share it on websites. When we started to integrate with Canva badges, it started to get a little bit more exciting, and that work is still kind of in progress. But that's my background with badges and badging. I also worked with an app development club with a really amazing colleague of mine. Her name's Rachel Murphy. She lives down in the valley and still works in the district that I came from. And we started an app development club, and we started a badging system for the students who are in that club because it was we knew almost nothing about app development, but our students knew a lot, and they just needed a place to work. And so we wanted to reward them for the work that they were doing, and we did that with badges because there were no grades, there were no assignments. We had some ideas, and we awarded them for the things that they got done in the class. And I'll show you some of that work a little bit as well. But I want to start with what badges are all about. And again, my background with teaching with badges is that I really felt strongly that in professional development and student learning that giving students an opportunity, students included, an opportunity to earn digital credentials or badges kind of upped the game as far as performance level outcomes was in the mix with our learning objectives. So as we developed more curriculum and started talking about student-centered learning, this idea of badges started to move closer and closer to the front of my mind. And so that's what I'd like to share and focus on. I want to talk about the training that I've done with badges in the past. I have run a badges for learning course. I kind of ran it on my own, did kind of my own thing, and had about 20 or 30 people participate. And then we ran a course through the Canvas community. We did a badges for learning course that just wrapped up about 3 weeks ago. How many of you, just out of curiosity, how many of you have been in that course and took that class from me? It's a couple. Nice job. And I learned some things from some people there that I'm hoping to share here as well. And so I'm hoping to learn things from you. But my intent in building that course was exactly what the title of this session is about: how to succeed with badges without really trying. I wanted to make badges in Canvas accessible for any teacher, any skill level. Doesn't matter their technology comfort level or their understanding of badges, really. I wanted to make it accessible and something they could at least attempt inside of a Canvas course. So that's where I'm coming from. There are other systems that do badges. There are other systems that do badges inside of Canvas. There are some things you may have seen here that do badges inside of Canvas better than Canva badges, but the one Canva badges was easy for any teacher to set up, and there's some benefits there to that. So I want to ask you your perspective on badges in education. How might you use them? How do you use them? What are your thoughts on badges for education? What is their role? Anyone? Motivation. How so? There you go. And why a badge over a grade? That's really what I'm getting to. Yeah, right? Dealing with K-5, it's different. You know, grades, they don't understand the concept of grades wholly. I mean, they get an A, they're super excited, and they put it on the fridge. But having a badge, they get pumped up about.
And the difference between badges versus grades is the whole mastery learning component.
Yes. So they're learning, so in mastery learning, maybe just speak to that just a little bit about your perception of mastery learning and how Badges works into that.
So the idea is that there is a particular concept or skill that you want a student to learn, and once they have mastered that skill, it doesn't matter how long it necessarily took or how they went about learning.
Fantastic.
They master it, and then they receive the badge.
Right, so the student needs to learn the skill, not the skill by Friday, right? Grades are the skill by Friday. Mastery learning is the skill. I don't care if you learn it on Friday with the rest of the class or if it's next Tuesday, but if you've learned the skill, that's important to me as a teacher. And how many of you are K-12? How many higher ed? Wow. So that's my background with K-12. We deal with mastery learning quite often, but I don't work in the higher ed sphere. I've worked a little bit since I've been at Instructure with some higher ed folks. I didn't really speak to that. I'm at Instructure now. I work there. I have for the last 3 months. I'm a sales engineer, so I work when you guys are all evaluating Canvas and everything's going really well and you're super excited. That's when I get to hang out with you. So that's my job. So in higher ed, I'm starting to see lots of mastery learning, especially in the health and nursing programs. They're all about these, digital credentials, certification programs, and Badges fits really well into that. But that's interesting. That's really good. So we're talking a little bit about why Badges. I think we've covered that pretty well. And with the time we have, I think I'm going to skip through this one. But here are my thoughts on why Badges in education. Number one, it offers students a choice in education. If I have a menu of badges, a list of things that I want my students to learn and understand, maybe I give them a self-directed path through that learning. You can earn this badge, or this badge. Or here's a collection of 6 badges. You need to earn 3 of the 5 in this category so that you understand that concept in general, right? So I'm starting to give my students control over their learning. That's the foundation of blended learning, and that's one of the things I'm also very passionate about. Blended learning is that concept. It's not, I'm also very passionate about flipped classrooms and that component of blended learning. And I'm very passionate about telling people that blended learning and flipped classroom is not posting a video, as amazing as it might be, as we learned about in the workshop, the keynote this morning. But flipped classrooms are not about posting a video and then having your students do work and hands-on stuff in class. That has nothing to do with it. What it is giving your students control over time, place, path, or pace of their learning. Not all at the same time, and maybe not all ever, but at least some of those components in some way. Time, place, path, or pace. They get to choose the things that they learn, and digital badges fit well into that blended learning pedagogy, I feel. We talked a little bit about motivation. When I was a kid, I loved getting stickers on my work. It was the best thing ever. And then one day, I was probably 4th or 5th grade, I realized my teacher had this roll of random stickers. And I quickly learned that she didn't take them off like picking out the best sticker for me in my performance. She took them off in the row or the sheet. It just came off in this list. And I was so bummed out. But it's the same idea, giving students reward and recognition for the work that they do, and maybe, I think I get to this in a minute, but maybe that reward and recognition isn't graded, right? Think about that for a minute. I like to talk about this record of student learning, grades versus credentialing, and it kind of came up in this conversation about mastery-based learning. When I graduate from high school, and I have straight A's, what am I able to do? When I walk into an employer and say, hey, I want to work here because I got straight A's, do they really know what I'm able to do, right? So if I walk in and say, in my high school career, I was Microsoft Office certified at our highest level that we offered in our school, does that make a little more sense, right? That's something they can use. That's something that is tangible, they can see, you can post on a resume, an online website, an e-portfolio. You can share the things that you know with potential employers, scholarship committees, whoever it might be. So I think grades are important. We shouldn't eliminate grades. I'm not that guy. But I do think that grades, they're problematic. That's where I'll leave that. And digital credentials can also be problematic. So we've got to be careful in the way that they're deployed. If you're going to deploy badges in your classroom just for fun, knock yourself out. Go for it. If you're going to do something system-wide inside of your institution where badges start to replace mastery learning or reward and recognize mastery learning and start to replace some of the grading component, your teachers in your building or your department or your college need to be on the same page. You would need to own that badge, however you decide to make that work. And again, my focus in this session is really, and the workshop, the online training, my focus has been from the teacher side. I needed badges as a teacher, and I found this to be the easiest way. If we need to start talking about badges for your institution, that's a different conversation, okay? This is where I want to talk about informal learning. When I was a ceramics teacher, I gave lots and lots of assignments, and the students would come up and say, "Kay, what's my grade on this?" I'm like, "That's not graded." And they're like, "Well, why did I do it?" And I said, "Well, not everything worth doing is graded. So nice job. Now you're ready to go on to the next step, and that part is going to probably be graded." So not everything worth doing is graded, and sometimes not everything that's graded is worth doing, but that also is a different workshop. But I think it's important for students to understand that early and often. My daughter, I love her to death, and she gets that sometimes. They in my students, my kid's school, she's in 4th grade, just finished. She's going to 5th grade. I have a hard time saying that out loud. That's too old. But they do what's called a Great Brain Project. They let the students choose a project, and they get to decide how they're going to learn about it, how they're going to present their learning to the teacher. There are some ideas shared, but they get to choose, and it isn't graded. And there wasn't even a medal this year. But it was important to her, and she's done it every year that she's been in that school. And it's a public school. I love public schools and the things that they do. Nothing against anyway, another session also. But our public schools are doing amazing things. Classrooms are not what they were when I was a student even. And so things are changing, and teachers understand this, and this is another way, adding badges is another way to reward and recognize students for that extra effort. The other thing that is becoming more and more common in our world is digital credentialing in the workplace. It was talked about in one of the keynotes that not everyone's path to the workplace is through a college or university or formal training program. There are lots of badges and credentialing and certification programs that I love the example of the guy working as that liked to do comic books, right? That was a great example. He kind of worked on his own. There weren't any badges or credentials that happened really from the example that she had. But there could be. Digital credentials are becoming more and more commonplace in the workplace. I think helping students understand that concept in schools is also important. And then my favorite thing to talk about, I love performance assessment rubrics. I think they make teaching clear. I think they make grading objective. And they are super important, right? We need performance assessment rubrics. We need common rubrics throughout your departments. We need to have that program so students understand really what's happening. But no student ever said, "Hey, did you get a 3 on that performance level outcome? Sweet, nice job." No student ever got excited about a rubric. They just don't, right? They don't care. We care because we need data, and we need to know where they are, and we need to show how they're performing over time. We need that. But students don't care about performance outcomes, maybe a little. But badges and digital credentials are kind of awesome. And I'll talk about ways to make those performance level outcomes fit into the badging concept as we go through. So tips for how to use badges. We've talked a little bit about why, and now I want to talk about how. There are 100 different ideas, and everybody that's starting with badges is kind of figuring out, as you take that first step into badges, all of a sudden, you've got to have some structure and some framework, and how do I do that? Right? How do I build that and be consistent? So these are my suggestions to you, and I want to ask if you have other suggestions, please share. First and foremost, determine your outcomes. What is it that you want to assess or track performance on. So if you have clearly built rubrics and performance outcomes, certification programs fit really well with badges. If you've already built that out, you're ready to just start adding some badges to that. Micro-credentials inside of your certification program, right? Little bits that lead up to a whole. But you need to know those outcomes first. I've talked with a couple people about badges, and you can just throw out a badge and say, hey, you did a great job in class today. I think you're neat. Sticker on your paper. But having other kind of reasons and a clear expectation for how you're going to deploy these badges, I think that's important. The next, and I tried to lasso my new colleague, Buck Harrison, into this presentation, but that guy is wicked busy. And he helped develop this IPT EdTech program at BYU. He was a graduate student there. They developed this badging program. It's a fantastic program. If you Google search the IPT EdTech, you'll find their site. What is really cool about what they did, they built in levels. I've taught a education technology endorsement program. I've worked with our district in endorsing, our district and other districts, endorsing teachers in education technology. And there are times that teachers work really hard, complete the assignments, do pretty good, and complete the endorsement. And they're endorsed in education technology. I don't want to pick on anybody in particular, right? I'm not naming names here. But far more valuable than an education technology endorsement, to me as a principal anyway, would be to say, I've completed my education technology endorsement, and on a scale of these 3 levels, I was at level 3. I performed at the highest level. Or I'm still learning, I got to the middle level. I started at really low, but I am still learning and developing. I got to that middle level. Think about the leveling that you could build into your badges. So when I, as an instructor, am working with my students, whether they're professional development teacher students or students, they start to see their performance level against their badges. So they stacked kind of together and become one big, nice, shiny badge if they really reach mastery. So this is a rubric, right? Does anybody else see that? This is level 1, 2, and 3, or 3, 4, 5, however you want to do it, right? Are we okay with that? Okay. And then consider badge stacking. This isn't an awesome example. This is a good example. You can build an awesome example. Sometimes badge stacking builds together like in a honeycomb of badges that build one mega super badge. It's Voltron of badges, right? But I stack these badges together, and they become the one mega super badge. So some students may earn these micro-credentials, and they know how to set up some badges in their courses. But the ones at the very end who are the super pros, they get the big badge, the ones who completed the course. And I have this in the course. This is the course that I teach. These are my badges for the Badges for Learning course. I have people who have earned all 6, but they haven't finished the last step to get the badges expert. Maybe they don't care. I don't know. Maybe they hate me as a person. I try not to think about it like that at night, but sometimes it happens. But they've earned some of those badges. And what's cool about Canvas is I can take those icons, display them in an e-portfolio. I, as a teacher, could share this framework. Say, here's the table that you're going to use to display your badges. Copy, paste that into your e-portfolio. And then as you add badges, you can drop them in there yourself. It's not an automatic port over, hey, drop this into this cell on this page. But you copy them over, and it works pretty nice. Students can display their badges. And so consider that stacking. Again, kind of leveling up, but it's more of a collection of ideas that lead to a whole. So now I want to talk about your ideas for how badges. Some of you who've been maybe successful with badges, implemented them in your schools, districts, universities, training programs. Yeah. Please. Yeah, we'll offer this course again I have to work it out with our community team, but we're planning July or August. This year, yes. We want you to be ready to go for the fall. Yeah. I don't even know what's going to happen in July next year. But yeah, this year we're ready to go. And again, that course is, I don't know what badges are or how to get them into Canvas. start from zero, get you to the end. Most teachers who, well, let's save that. Ideas for badges. How do you use them in your school, or suggestions for how you've made them be successful, at least in maybe some of your early efforts?
I have a brief question.
Sure.
How do you take the badges out of the platform and put it in a backpack or something like that?
I'll totally show you that. I got a slide just for you. So the question, what's that?
Is that something that's fairly widely used?
Yeah, I think so. It's fairly widely suggested, actually. So the question is, how do I get badges out of Canvas and into somewhere else? Canva Badges pushes your badges to Mozilla Backpack, and then all your badges and digital credentials live there. Mozilla Backpack, how many of you have used Mozilla before, their Mozilla Backpack? Pretty easy to build collections, right? You can build, are they called collections? Is that the right word? I think they're called collections. And so I can build my own little badge stack just like this. So, yeah. Other questions or how to use badges in your classroom? Yeah.
Back to your other question.
Uh-huh.
We are just now starting to experiment with badges. We signed on with BadgeSafe, and
Very good.
we are working with badges for faculty development, to try to motivate faculty to attend professional development and then displaying them on their Canvas profiles. So we have a whole 70 badge system that we're working up to.
Standardized, and you can use them everywhere. So she's got a professional development course, or a professional development program that they're sharing badges through BadgeSafe, and everything's posted on there. Do they give you a website, kind of like a WordPress site, where you can kind of track badges?
They can go right on your Canvas
Yeah,
profile.
perfect. I haven't worked a lot with BadgeSafe, but it's another LTI, integrated LTI in Canvas that just takes a little bit of setup, but yeah. Yep. So deleting it in Canva Badges, if a student's been awarded the badge, it's never, yeah. Yeah. So the badges only live inside of the course, really. You can transfer badges from course to course, from commons to course, but if you turn them off inside of a course or delete them, oh, and you want to take it away from them, nope. So the reason you're asking is, this is, well, my perception of what you're asking is maybe I want teachers to recertify, and they earn the badge 1 year and they have to re-earn the badge every year, and you want to take it back. Not with Canva badges that I know. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. There can be pitfalls. What's the name of the book again?
It's called
For the Win by Kevin Gorback? Okay.
It's available digitally through Wharton Digital Press. Again, I don't think you like today. It's really easy.
Cool.
Recommend it for people that are looking at
Kevin Gorback? How do you spell the last name?
Warback. Warback.
Warback. W-E-R-B-A-C-H. Very good. And there are some pitfalls to avoid. I was in a Twitter conversation the other day with a guy who said badges were a waste of time because as soon as you incentivize something, you take away students' motivation to do that thing. And I just don't agree with that. I think if your incentive sucks, then you take away a student's motivation to do that thing. Maybe your incentive isn't good. And so like a piece of candy is not incentive. It's like an immediate reward and then it's over. But things that are long-term and lasting and mean something to them, I mean, that's not a piece of candy. That's a real-life thing that they can use, and those are important. I have to keep moving, and I'm going to come back to your questions. I really want to get through how easy it is to set these up. And I will stick around after, and we'll play in the hallway or whatever. I'm in Jive, or the new community, and you can find me there. I'm on Twitter at WardJHS. You can find me there. But I want to talk about these badges, how easy it is to set this up. So this is all about Canva badges. There are definitely other systems. So my training course, I walk you through first and foremost how to build a module. How many of you can build a module in Canvas? Right? Piece of cake. Takes a minute once you figure out, calendar, homepage, email, notifications. Modules are kind of the next thing. So modules aren't bad. You can build a module. If you look kind of close, these are the requirements for a module. You can work your way through a module by saying you've got to complete this part, do this task, submit this assignment, get an A, whatever you want to do. You can add requirements to that module. Next, you've got to import and set up Canva badges. That's the tricky part. There are different places to set up Canva badges. The teacher can do it inside of their own course. If you want super awesome Canva badges, your admin needs to install the app, the LTI. So tell them to set it up. It puts a My Badges tab on the student profile, and they can see all their badges that they earn. There's another component that you can add as well that shows badges on their profile. It's kind of cool. Free. Oh yeah, this is all free. That's the other reason I like it's accessible, it's free, any teacher can do it. So little bit of tricks there. Again, I'm willing to help you there. Not real tricks, it's just installing it, getting it set up. Then you've got your badge settings. This is where you build all the requirements for the badge. It's a spreadsheet. You fill out this form and it tells the student what they've got to do to complete the badge. So you built that module, right? Now I say you've got to complete Module 1, or Module 1 and 2, or Module 1, 3, 6, and 7. And I can say, I'm going to review what you've done and not award you the badge automatically if I want. Or I can just say, hey, if you complete Module 1, you're done, you get Badge 1. You're the winner. So I can automate it. I can make it so the teacher controls it. All of that. Are we still okay? Everybody all right? Super easy. Then I've got to build a badge icon. The badge designer that's built into Canva badges, it's intense for a minute, and then you figure it out and it's okay. The other really cool trick, and a lot of people figured this out really quickly in the course, I can build badges other places, and I don't think I'm going to have time to show you all these. I'll post them in the community for sure. But I can build a badge somewhere else. Classbadges.com was where I built all of my badges when I was teaching and doing my app development club. I take that image, I load it into the badge designer as the very first thing, and I don't have to do anything else. My badge is done. The reason I use the badge designer is because it steals the metadata from that badge and sends it to Mozilla Backpack. That link works better when you use the badge designer. Just bring your image in and you're done. Then you award the badges. This is my list of students who are winning badges. I can see when they've won the badge. I can manually award badges if I'd like. Then I share the badges. This is you over here. So then I share my badges. When my students earn the badge, the credential lives in the course, in the module where they earn the badge. That's important to remember. The credential lives in the course, which is good. You want the credential to be in the course. The students' access to the badge and the metadata and how it gets awarded, again, there is information there that your institution is tied to when they send that to Mozilla Backpack. You want that to live in the course. That's a good thing. So you send it to Mozilla. They log into their Mozilla Backpack. That's another setup thing that they've got to do, but it goes to their backpack where they can do anything they'd like with it. Post it to LinkedIn, post it to Credly, whatever they'd like, okay? So 6 easy steps. We went through all of them, and I am right at my time. So I'm going to take questions until I see a sign that goes up or somebody starts waving hands up and down frantically. Yes?
So if I want to use this more as an extra credit type of thing,
Yeah.
and then translate that to just some extra points for their
Yeah.
overall grade, is there some place in Canvas itself that would show up more easily for me to add in gradebook?
You can manually award badges. So the question is, can I use it for extra credit? They won't go to necessarily the grade book unless there are extra credit assignments that are tied to it. But the badges can be awarded any way you'd like. They can be I can just click on a kid's name and give them a badge for no reason if I'd like. So that's totally possible. They won't see it unless they click on the link that's inside of their course, and they'll see, hey, you haven't been awarded this badge from the teacher. Or if they've gotten it, they'll see the badge and they'll be able to get the reward. Yes?
What was the app that shows the badge on the student's profile?
It's just a bit of JavaScript, and it's in the instructions for how to set up badges, and we can help you set that up, but it's got to go. Oh, so the question, what is the app that displays badges on your profile? It's a bit of JavaScript. It goes inside of your Canvas admin panel, and we just have to add that at your admin level, and then it shows up on their profile. I'm going to go here. Not right now. Not right now. Only private to the student. So I'm going to wrap up because people are leaving, and I don't want to be super rude and hold you past your time. But if you have questions, reach out. I'm pretty accessible. I'm around at the conference all day. I'm happy to talk more in the hall, but thank you guys for all of your time and attention. Enjoy your badges.